Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing another review on a dash cam, and this is from a company called PORMIDO. This is your factory rear view mirror that's on the Jeep Wrangler. And this is the dash cam that's from PORMIDO. It is pretty identical to a factory rear view mirror. It does have buttons to help control the camera settings, but it mounts just like a factory mount, and it looks pretty identical to the factory Jeep mirror. It does not have map lights on the bottom, which I'm a little disappointed about that. But other than that, this thing mounts identically and it looks good. So today I'm going to be doing a review on this dash cam. We're going to do a quick install. I'll show you how I tap into the wiring, and then we will do some driving, and I'm going to be comparing it against the Wolfbox G900 Pro. So we're going to see which of these dash cams is better, which is best for you, and we'll see which one you should go for. This is more about a video about this, and I'm using the G900 Pro as a general comparison. The Wolfbox dash cams, they mount over your factory mirror like this, and they tie on with little straps. This dash cam simply replaces your rear view mirror and has a good factory finished install. And it is very reflective, so you can use this as the actual mirror like you would with a regular rear view mirror. The other benefit of this is, if you notice on the top here, you do not have a whole bunch of wires to install, because this is the main plug and it can be hidden behind this little plastic piece, and this can go up hidden under the plastics on the Jeep. The one thing about this camera is it comes with the hardware kit. Instead of using the 12-volt cigarette lighter, you do have to hardwire this in, but it does come with these nice fuse ends. I won't end up using these because where I'm going to be tapping is actually under the hood, so I'm going to have to run some wires, and then I will cut these and tap into it. This wiring harness comes with the rear camera, and then the front camera is detached. At first I didn't think I would like this, but I can find this to be very beneficial, because sometimes with the Wolfbox dash cam I want it angled a certain way, but that means the front camera is going to be angled that way also. This, I can attach it wherever I want, and then I can simply angle it a little bit, but that won't change the video recording. This will be set right on the glass and be recording. So that is kind of a nice feature. Let's go ahead and open it up and see what we've got. So far the packaging seems nice. So this is the dash cam. It is made to resemble a factory style mirror. And the cool thing about it is you're only going to have one wire coming out of the back of it, as opposed to seeing several wires on the top. Compared to some of the competitor dash cams, this is a Wolfbox G840H, but all the Wolfbox dash cams have all the wires on the top. So this is essentially the dash cam. You can have 1, 2, 3 buttons on it. But let's go ahead and open up the box, see what else we have with it. Got the instructions. So this is a 2K front camera, and it looks like a HD rear camera. The front camera is a separate mounted camera. It's not waterproof. The rear camera is waterproof, can be mounted inside or outside. Comes with a bracket to mount to the factory mirror style, so I'll show you that. And here's showing how to mount it. Here's showing how to use the camera. This is going through the settings. Looks like when reviewing the footage, it will show you the GPS location. And it looks like we have 2 anti-glare protection films. I usually don't use these just in case I need to use the mirror as an actual reflective mirror. Looks like this is our interior mirror. Little tiny pry tool. This is the rear camera. It's already got the 3M tape mounted to it. And it looks like it also comes with different mounting hardware. This is the wiring kit that it comes with. And it looks like you can tap this right into a fuse. Ground is the black cable. Yellow will be to your battery. Red will be for the accessory. That means when you turn the key on, the camera will turn on. And this is your rear camera extension. And this is going to be a little wire cover that it can hide your wires nicely. Little wire securing devices. Microfiber cloth. These are the covers that will cover this. And then this is the special part about this camera. This is going to mount right to your factory rear view mirror spot. So you're going to actually remove your old mirror and this is going to replace it. So it's a little bit different compared to how the other ones mount. So this is going to mount a little bit different than your normal dash cam compared to the G840. So there is a big size difference, but the mounting mechanism is going to be way different on the Wolfbox dash cams and a lot of the other ones. This is going to be how it mounts. It's going to go over the rear view mirror, sort of like this. This one is going to actually replace your rear view mirror. You're going to remove it and you're going to attach this in its place. So it's going to be a little bit of a cleaner install compared to a lot of the other dash cams that I've reviewed. The only thing I would say is the camera isn't mounted to this camera. That would be nice if it was automatically mounted here. So let's go ahead and turn it on. PORMIDO. Alexa, what UTC is Arizona in?
From hotbot.com, Arizona primarily falls within the Mountain Standard Time, MST, zone, which is UTC-7.
Alexa, what frequency are we in America? 50 or 60 hertz?
If you are in America, the electricity in your home runs at 60 hertz.
I'm going to go through the settings. First thing we'll do is flip the cameras. All right, perfect. Now we can go through all the settings. I've got the cameras set up. This is the rear. This is the front camera. I've got them mounted right here. This is the rear. This is the front. They're both aiming forward. This is both cameras. The rear is on the right, front on the left. You can change the cameras by swiping the screen left or right. Then on the rear camera, you can swipe on the side here. You can zoom in actually. So that's a neat feature. Then on the left side, you can scroll up and down. There's your brightness setting. Then you can also scroll through the cameras by hitting right there. Looks like this button does the same thing. This button on the left takes a picture. This button on the right turns off the camera screen, and you can see it's a good reflection. So you've got camera button. This one is to review the playback. And this is the settings, and this is the lock button, so it'll lock your recording. And we'll go into the settings. So we got the storage. It comes with a 64 gig memory stick. Gives you a little bit of information. Resolution, you can switch between 2K and 1080p. Loop time, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Record sound. Parking mode. So this will turn on the parking mode and then you can go through the settings. So this is sensitivity if somebody were to bump it, if it's going to be recording on just from being bumped, or time-lapse recording, 0.5 seconds, 1 second every 5 seconds, and how long you want to record for. 12 hours, 24, 72. So that's nice that you can do all these settings in here. Battery voltage protection. Oh, it shows you what the battery voltage is. That's really neat. That's not normal for these dash cams. And then it tells you what voltage it'll shut this off if it's doing the loop recording. That way it doesn't drain your battery. Your languages, you can select the date and time, GPS automatic, time zone, 24-hour clock, display mode, automatic shutdown, screen is always on, screensaver mode. Usually what the screensaver mode is it'll just turn the screen blank, but it'll still show you the clock. Brightness, low, middle, high, volume, that's your touch tone volume, turn that low. GPS information, speed unit, screen display, front, the rear, or split. This is for flipping the rear camera or mirroring. Reverse lines, factory reset, and then about the model version. So let's put this in reverse and see what that looks like. Aims downward when it goes in reverse. Lower them, they go really low actually. So that's nice. So next, let's go ahead and review some of the footage. Hit this top button, it switches from the front to rear camera. One thing that's cool is if you're scrolling way far and you're reviewing something on the front camera or the rear camera, you hit the same button and it stays at that recording instead of starting at the beginning. So this is how you select all. This is so you can view your locked videos. Or you can go into the camera to see, hit this one, you can see pictures that you took. If I'm sitting here reviewing something and I say on the camera I want this footage to be locked, hit this button right here, and it moves the video down into the locked footage. Or you can do the opposite. You can unlock it, unlock it, unlock it, unlock it, so you don't have any locked footage. But that's something that's unique to this camera alone. You say you want to lock this footage, hit the lock button, and it will not erase over it. And it looks like when you do that, it automatically does both front and rear. The GPS is already mounted inside this, so that's also nice. You don't have to mount that guy. I'd say the only thing it seems like they're missing is lights on the bottom. That would have been nice to see. But other than that, this is a nice direct fit into the factory rear view mirror position. And the reflection is a really nice reflection, so I think this would work. You could turn off the screen. It'll still record like a dash cam. And that is in comparison to the factory mirror. So a little bit darker tint, but not bad. Compared to a factory mirror, it is a little bit slimmer, but I would say it is just about the same size. And then compared to the Wolf Box, it's a little bit smaller, a little bit thicker, but it definitely gives a very factory finish feel. Feels like it's very good quality. And the fact that you can hide the wires, that's nice. So when you're mounting this, looks like the wire sneaks through here. The bracket that comes with the camera should fit 90% of vehicles, but if it does not, you're able to reach out to PORMIDO and they will provide you with the correct bracket. Alright, so once you have this mounted on here, you take your wire cover. This part is actually going to snap into here, wrap the wire around. And snap it in. And that will cover up the wire, and then this piece is adjustable, and that makes for a very clean install. So now we can bring this inside the Jeep and we can install it in its factory location. Then we'll wire it up and go for a test drive. This is where your SD card is located. Let's go ahead, open up this hood. I'll show you the easiest way to run your wires. So here is the fuse box for the Jeep Wrangler. It is under the hood. This one clearly has a different motor in it. But if you see right here, this is the M37 fuse. So this is a fuel pump fuse. That means it's going to be on when you are turning the key, and you want your dash cam to be powered on when you are turning the key forward and when you're cranking. That way it's not turning on and then off. So we're going to use this fuse tap, plug this into here, keeping the 10 amp fuse, and then we'll run this over to the driver's side. That way we can go inside the cabin. And on these fuse taps, the top one is going to be for your accessory. The bottom one is going to be for the factory fuse. Okay, just like that, that is in. And then you can finish it off by adding some RTV, drilling a hole, adding RTV. That way you keep this hole inside nice and sealed. Don't just fold it over and close the lid. So now, just like this, you can run this wire over to the driver's side, and then we will be entering the cabin. There's a spot right down here. This wiring harness does have a yellow wire, and this is going to be tapping into the battery for a 12 volt positive, and it's going to be constant feed. And then this is going to be your 12 volt ground. Then your red wire is going to be what attaches to the wire in the TIPM. And the TIPM, again, is the fuse box. So while we're here, we're going to be tapping into the battery, and we're going to run the battery wire also to that side of the Jeep and into the cabin. All right, so I've got the wire coming around here. If you have an automatic Jeep, there's this grommet down here. You can push the wires through. And then you can grab them from the corner up there. So I've got the wire fed up through here, and then you can guide it through here. This is the wolf box, but the power wire will come out right there. For this video, I'll be doing temporary wiring, but that is how you will hardwire that into here. And right here, I'll post a link to a different video that I have showing how to remove all of this paneling to mount the wiring. So let's go ahead and remove this Wolfbox G900 Pro. These are the 3 wires that stick out on top of the Wolfbox. So you can definitely see the wiring harness with this type of dash cam. So just like that, you can remove the old dash cam or rear view mirror. This is the nub that this new one is going to be attaching to. This is to hide the wiring harness. I don't think we'll be able to use it. And then you can tighten up the screw. There you go. Looks like a factory finish. So now you can tuck your wiring. With this dash cam, you're only going to see one wire coming out of the back of it. Just like the factory mirror had the wire for the lights, you're not going to see the wires up on top. So now we can plug in the power cord. And again, this will be routed up under this cover here and around. And then we're going to plug in the front camera, and we can see the direction that this mounts. You can mount it right underneath. Once it's mounted, you can then angle it different. Right, just like that, it is mounted. Adjust the angle. And this flicker is just because of the lights. So now we can mount the rear camera. And the rear camera wiring again would also come up under here. So I've got the rear camera temporarily mounted in the back. That way if we can test it out and test it versus the wolf box. So we're going to plug in the rear camera. So again, all these wires will be tucked better. This is for testing purposes. So I think it's time we can go for a test drive, see how it all looks, and then we'll do a comparison versus some footage from the Wolfbox G900 Pro. I already like the factory finish on this. It does look very factory finish. So for a permanent spot, I would mount this probably up higher. You can mount it anywhere. You can mount it so you won't be able to see it. This is just a temporary mounting spot. And then the rear camera is also temporary, but let's look at that. All right, so I've got the rear camera mounted right on top of the Wolfbox camera. And this is how I mount the Wolfbox camera. And this is how I would mount the PORMIDO camera right on top here. Or if you got a spare tire carrier, you can mount it there. And then I have the wires tucked inside the tailgate. And it comes out. And then it routes up to the front. So let's go for a quick test drive. So I've got it all mounted up. Here is it finally installed. Like I said, it's just a rough install just for the video. Front camera, rear camera is out the back. And it's actually a pretty nice view. So you can turn off the screen and then you can use this as an actual mirror. All right, let's go for a drive. You can see switching through the settings here. Not a bad looking view. You can turn off the screen and there's the rear view mirror look. Turn the screen back on. And that's how it looks. It's a bright day out. I can still see on the rear view mirror pretty good. So after driving around a bit on this camera, it is not terrible. Not the greatest dash cam I've seen, but if you compare this to some of the cheaper end models of Wolfbox, I would say definitely comparable. Fit and form, I would say this takes the cake out of every dash cam that I've tested. It just looks great. So that is one area that it wins. It just looks so factory. And then also another area that it wins is if you are using this as a rear view mirror, it is a very good reflection. So you can definitely see the cars out of the back easier than some of the other dash cams that I've reviewed, even easier than the Wolfbox dash cams. But if you are using it as a mirror like this with the screen on, then it's a little bit difficult to see while driving, but it is a very bright day. It does take some getting used to when you're looking through these dash cams. So let's plug in the Wolfbox dash cam so we can see a little bit of a comparison. So just comparing these two dash cams, I would say the Wolfbox, it's easier to see the screen. It's a bigger screen. But if you're not looking to review everything through the rear view mirror when you lock the screen, this one has a better reflection. But overall, if you're looking to keep this camera on, Wolfbox is a lot easier to see. Just a brighter screen. So that's the difference between the front camera and the rear camera. And granted, this is a 4K dash cam. This is a HD dash cam. So there's going to be a difference. But if you don't want to see the wires, if you want a more factory finish, if you want to use this as a rear view mirror, then this one's a little bit better looking. You don't have these wires, so overall this one looks better. But the Wolfbox is just going to be a much better quality camera. The actual video footage is going to be superior. The other area that I like this one is that you can mount this camera separate, the front camera, instead of the Wolfbox. If I go to angle this whole mirror, then I have to angle the camera in the back of it. It's nice that it's a separate camera. You can mount it anywhere you want. Overall, that is my review on this PORMIDO dash cam. It's a pretty solid unit and it has a good factory finish. So now we're going to be doing a little bit of testing at night. Here is the PORMIDO camera. This is the Wolfbox G900 Pro. So let me turn this light off and we will see how they look compared to each other at night. So up top is the G900 Pro. It is just about dark outside. So G900 Pro, you can see where it's lit, looks good quality. But on the PORMIDO, the dark, you can see the road. You can actually see much clearer in the very, very dark areas. Where the G900 Pro, you can barely see in the pitch black. So we're going to do a little bit of driving around, and I'll just review the footage of these two dash cams, and we will see how each one looks at night. And really quick, I wanted to see how the front cameras looked. This is with my Jeep fog lights. Let's turn off the fog lights. Let's turn off the fog lights. So it's quite a difference between the two dash cams. Again, this is the PORMIDO, and this is the Wolfbox G900 Pro. The PORMIDO is much brighter in the very dark roads. So with the PORMIDO, this has really good nighttime visibility. Wolfbox, I can't barely see anything. So that is my overall review of this PORMIDO dash cam. Overall, it is a very nice unit. It definitely has a very factory finished look, and it has some features that stick out above other dash cams. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Go!